So what makes news? In other words, what constitutes whether or not a story is newsworthy or not? When a reporter is considering a story, they'll run through a mental checklist to ascertain if the story is newsworthy. Let me explain. A story is newsworthy if it's of interest to the general public. Does it affect them? However, there are more factors to consider. The word news means exactly that, things which are new, which in turn means new can become old news very quickly. So let's investigate the checklist one by one that I mentioned earlier. Number 1, timing. Is the story happening now? Current news has more impact than something that happened yesterday or last week. The news media loses interest quickly, and a story that happened yesterday or last week or last month becomes stale, or as we say in the business, old news. Number 2, currency. Is the story under the public spotlight? In other words, are people talking about it? Stories that people are concerned about, like the road toll, for example, superannuation, interest rates, or, of course, the coronavirus, are all newsworthy. Number 3, impact. Does a story affect lots of people? The more people affected, the bigger the story. And again, the coronavirus is the perfect example because that is affecting people all over the planet. Number 4, proximity. Is the story happening close by? Now, generally, stories which happen near to us have more significance than a story that's happening in another state or another country. Prominence. Does the story involve someone prominent, a well-known person? Is the story happening at a prominent place, or is an event prominent? Number 6, human interest, and this is a good one. Does the story draw an emotional reaction? Now, these stories focus on inspiration, an individual's comeback or adversity. They aim to evoke responses such as humour, sadness, and motivation. Another important one, hip pocket. Now, this is a big one. Does the story have an impact on your finances? Anything that affects people's pockets is always news, whether it's negative or positive. Extremes. Reporters and audiences are always interested in what I call ST words, words that finish in ST, like first, last, best, longest, smallest, greatest, highest, or worst. And just to pick out a few examples, the building was the biggest in that particular state, or it was the worst bushfire ever, or he climbed the highest mountain. These are 8 of the most common attributes that journalists look for when assessing the newsworthiness of a potential story. So now you're armed with this information, we're going to use this knowledge to identify story ideas within your business that are newsworthy. See you in Module 2.